Hey everybody, back again for another episode over in Petrie's Garage. Shannon Petrie here, like always. So today, got my batteries recharged a little bit from yesterday. Yesterday was like freaking so hot, it's just not motivated, didn't want to do much at all. But today, I'm gonna go ahead and get this hood nice and stripped down. I'm gonna etch primer the whole hood. I also need to work on the hinges. They have the rod springs on that hinge. And whenever I tried to mock them up, I noticed that it's in the way of the intercooler. So I'm not trying to relocate the intercooler after taking all that work to get it nice and placed right, and all the intercooler piping is space for that as well. So I'm just gonna take the rod springs off of the hood hinges, and I'll open and close it like that. It still has a hood prop on it, so having the rod springs won't really be an issue. Later on I'll figure out how to do a hydraulic shock setup on it, but we'll see how it goes once I mount it and see exactly how it opens. But the rod springs are right here. They go from side to side. I guess they might just stabilize it when you open it up. I'm not sure, but I'll figure that out. And yesterday I had such a fight with the coolant sending sensor for the gauge that's in the dash. I ended up having to take the whole damn housing off just to get that sensor out. And what happened was the end of it just broke off when I was trying to pull it off, because you have a fitting that tightens it in, and it seals inside right here in this beveled area. And the coolant had dried itself over the years up and cemented that thing in, and the only way that I was able to get it out was me taking a tap and tapping the inside of it and putting a bolt in there and using a sliding hammer. And I'm not talking a little sliding hammer, I have a big sliding hammer, and I have to put some freaking oomph in that thing just to get it out. I finally got it out, but it's a different type of sensor they sell now on the Datsuns. It's a one-piece design like that. It's got a little beveled edge in it, and I'm wondering, because when I thread it in all the way, it doesn't mate all the way up to the O-ring. Now I'm still gonna put Teflon around the threads, you know, just to ensure the seal. But when I thread it in all the way, there's still a gap, and I'm wondering if I just need to tighten it down to create that seal in there with this beveled edge. I got my buddy Joseph, he's ordered another sensor. It's the same type, but I just want to compare the two and see exactly if there's a difference or not. So what sucks is I already had that mounted, so now I gotta go ahead and clean the gasket surface off and put another gasket on it, RTV it, and let it cure. But you know, when you're putting things together, you don't think about certain things, and that's what ends up happening. You end up taking a couple steps forward and have to take a step back. But on the back end, I got the panels mounted up. It kind of cleaned it up a lot with the slim looking rear bumper, now that I got the horns off of it and everything. And there was no way to put the rubber bumper pieces back on, because all the tabs on the back of those were rusted, and as soon as I hit it with the little mini impact, it just broke them off. No big deal. He plans on having that welded and powder coated later anyway. And he didn't even ask me to do this. I did this on my own, because it just irks me. I'm that type of person. And when he asked me to build it, he said, just build it how you would have it. And for me, that's how I would have it. So, but yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get my angle grinder going on these little bits of paint that's left on there and primer, and get the edges real good around the sides. And then I'm gonna go over it with some Scotch-Brite and scuff it in nice and even. I'm gonna pull my garage door up. I'll hang it with some wire and use my my stand there to prop the door up so the weight of the hood doesn't bring the door down. And I'm gonna paint it like that. I find on big flat surfaces, whenever you paint anything, it's best to have it up vertically, because if you paint it like this with it on the like a flat surface, you end up getting this zebra striping. And I don't know if it matters so much with primer, because primer seems to lay even, unlike paint, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that anyway. That way it's a nice even surface on it, and the primer will match the primer that's on the buckets and give it that Project Life look. Okay guys, I got all the spots taken care of on the hood. I got all the edges done around the four corners, and now I'm going to take some red Scotch-Brite and I'm just going to wet the Scotch-Brite. I'm just going to scuff everything in all even, so everything's got a nice even scuff on it, and then I'm going to hang it up, put some edge primer on it, let it dry, and that'll be that on that. So the remainder of the day after I do the hood, I told Joseph I would paint his bodywork, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. He's got his bodywork over here. It's already primered and ready to go. He's got his painting materials right here. I'm by no means a professional painter, but I've messed with it enough to know a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot these with some red paint to match his tank, and clear coat them, get them all nice and pretty, so he can mount them back up. I think he's got the bike sold, so he's just waiting on the paint to get that done. And he's got his little Acura Integra outside with a LSD Tech setup. He's waiting on money for a Honda system and a couple other odds and ends to get that thing good to go. Whenever he sells the bike and gets all that stuff, I'll film a little bit on that too, and it'll be more content for you guys to watch. But that's what I try to do every day, just shoot a little bit of what I got going on. And I appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. That's cool. It makes me feel like, you know, I'm not doing it for nothing. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing going, and we'll start the prime. Alright guys, got it all scuffed in now with the Scotch-Brite. As you can tell, I got this thing stripped bare metal. It also gives you an opportunity whenever you get things down to bare metal. There's like surface rust that you don't even know about. Like right here, I had to get in there really good. So I got a lot of the rust out of it. There's a couple little spots here or there, but you know what, I scuffed them really good. That edge primer will get in there and neutralize any little rust spots and imperfections it's got. But yeah, it's all nice and scuffed in now. It's going to give a good surface for the dry etch to adhere to, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, 2.5 cans of primer later. I got her nice and even. I don't know what it is about the bugs over here, but they seem to like primer. Every time I spray it down, there was bugs trying to settle on it, so I'd hose them off with some compressed air, but it looks nice and even. It was a little bit difficult on the bottom end to get it even because the top, I guess it was more head level that it was easier to get an even coat, but the lower I went on it, it was harder to get an even coat. So I ended up putting tires out there to push against it and give me an angle so it wasn't hanging straight up and down, and I was able to spray it better. But you can tell there's some little dents and stuff in it. I ain't worried about it. I'm not a body guy. I just want it to match the headlight buckets, give it that nice project look, and then, you know, he'll be happy whenever he comes in and sees that I actually did some body work to it as well. See, he doesn't know about the bumpers or any of that, so he thought I was just gonna throw everything on the way it was. So he'll be pleased, and I give him a peace of mind. That way he can take his time, recoup a little bit of money after he's done paying me doing all that, because that's a lot of work. It's a little windy outside. This is my little makeshift paint booth. It's blocked the wind mostly. I got my fan kind of blowing it, so this will catch some overspray and the rest can go in the wind, no problem. And got the paint gun set up here on my compressor, and I got my regulator set, so when I push it in, it gives me 45 psi at the gun. About to mix some paint and start painting them.
Just as long as you stand by me, so you stand by me. Oh, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. The sky that we look upon should tumble, and follow the mountain should crumble too. But you will cry. Just as long as you stand by me, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. The sky that will crumble should tumble and fall, for the mountain should climb onto the sea.
guys, I'm proud of myself. I think I did a really good job. So I'll show you again the primered hood that I did. I stripped it down as you saw earlier in the video, how nice it came out, nice and even, no zebra stripes. Now look at that paint job right there. That's not bad for throwing paint right outside in the open. Just blocking a little bit of wind with the canopy I had set up over there. But as you can tell, whoo, that thing looks like candy. Here's the upper cowling. Now on the upper cowling I did throw a little thick. It's got a couple, just like 2 little runs in it, but it's not bad, not noticeable until you get right up on it, like right there, and then I got one right there. But we're gonna go back later and once it cures and wet sand it, and that should take the runs out of it. But I got the side fairings over here. That's not bad at all. Now, granted, we did that with cheap Omni paint from, you know, Auto Parts paint supplier, and we threw the paint with Harbor Freight compressor and a Harbor Freight paint gun. So, in the end, I think I did a real good job. I'm real happy with the work, and I wanted to see how good I threw the paint with that gun because I got a new set of bodywork for my race bike in that box. So I'm gonna buy me some paint later, and I'm gonna throw me some paint on my new bodywork, and then I'm also gonna take that bodywork off and re-clear it so it looks nice and even, because that I did with automotive paint and a rattle can, so it don't come out as good as a compressor, but I was in a rush to get it done. But yeah, looks good. Once he cleans and waxes his fender and his fairing, it's gonna be shiny like his new paint job. But cool. Alright, well, I've been a painting son of a bitch all damn day. I'm tired. I gotta go get my kids. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Like, comment, subscribe if you already have. Thank you. If you haven't, go ahead, give me your thoughts. And I'm gonna conclude this episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one.